Hi guys, if you are viewing my channel first time, please subscribe to my channel for more updates on embedded systems. Today we are mainly discussing about an architecture of 8051 microcontroller. Here the architecture means internal building blocks of our 8051 microcontroller that we'll discuss main on today. First one is arithmetic and logic unit. It is also one of the logical circuitry. It will perform the arithmetic and logical operations. Arithmetic operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and logical operations are and or not. Okay, here the mainly A and B register we are using to perform these arithmetic and logical operations. And A register we are calling it as accumulator also. Why? Because it will act as source as well as destination. For example, if I am trying to add the content of A and B and also final result also we are storing it to the A. That's why we are calling it as accumulator. Okay, next one is program status word or process status word. Okay, it will store the status of the ALU. For example, whether if it is after the ALU operations, if the carry affected, that carry we are storing it here. Okay, here the parity. Okay, next one is if it is overflow flag, we are going to store it here. Okay, here the RS0, RS1 we are using to select the particular register bank here. We have the four register bank. If it is 00, we are selecting register bank 0. And if it is 01, register selection 1. If it is 10, register bank 2, and if it is 11 we are selecting register bank 3. In our RAM memory we have the four register banks. Out of that four register bank we are selecting only the one. Why? Because each register bank contain R0 to R7. This register bank also contain R0 to R7, R0 to R7, R0 to R7. That's why we need to select any register bank by using this PSW register. Okay, initially my PSW register will be reset to 0. Initially we are going to select register bank 0. Okay, next here parity will discuss one by one flags. We'll discuss more here. Parity flag, for example, if my accumulator contains after the addition operation my accumulator contains odd number of ones, we are going to add one more one here. Okay, the always we are making the even parity. For example, odd number of ones we are making the parity bit is 1. For example, we have even number of ones in our accumulator in the final result, then we are making it to 0. This is a way parity work. Okay, next is the overflow flag. If the carry from the 6th bit to 7th bit, we have the D0 to D7, right? From the 6th bit to 7th bit, for example, if I am adding the content of A and B, if the carries occurred from the 6th bit to 7th bit or 7th bit to 8th bit, then this overflow flag will be set to 1, otherwise it will be 0. Okay, these two flags we are using for the register selection. And here this is the future flag. Okay, now currently we are not using this. Here the auxiliary carry, for example, carry from the bit 3 to bit 4. For example, if I am adding the two register content, if the carries occurred from the bit 3 to bit 4, then this auxiliary carry will be set to 1. Carry, if the, for example, from the 7th bit, if I am adding content of A and B, from 7th bit to 8th bit, if I got any carry, then I am storing it here. Okay, carry will be stored here mainly. Okay, these are mainly program status word and process status word. Okay, next we'll discuss 8-bit data and address bus. Okay, here we have 8-bit data and address bus. It is connected to RAM and also to the all the ports. For example, addressing of the port also 8-bit, and also RAM addressing also within the 8-bit. Okay, if you see here, 2 power 7, only 128 bytes of RAM we have, only 8 address lines are enough. That's why we have 8 address lines and 8 data lines here. In case of RAM and also port, if I want to read the data from the port, we need 8-bit data bus. If I want to read the data from this RAM memory or write the data to the RAM memory, then we need this 8-bit data bus. Okay, this address bus to identify the whether I want to identify the port address or if I want to identify the particular RAM address, then we need this 8-bit address bus. Okay, this is the 8-bit address bus to access all the ports. And here the next we have read only memory. We have 4 kilobytes of read only memory. Okay, here we are using the 16-bit addressing. We have the 8051, we have 16-bit addressing and 8-bit data bus. Okay, by using this 16-bit address, it is connected to port 0 and port 2. See here 80 to 87. Externally, we have this pins. We have 80 to 87 means 8 address lines and 8 data lines. Here A8 to A15, totally 16 address lines and 8 data lines. If I want to access any external memory up to 64 kilobytes, then we can use this complete 16-bit addressing. For example, locally, if I want to access only the read-only memory, only 12 address lines are enough. If you see here, 2 power 10 is 1 kilobyte, 2 power 11 is 2 kilobytes, 2 power 12 is 4 kilobyte. Only 12 address lines are enough to access this complete internal 4 kilobytes of read-only memory. Okay, next we'll discuss on mainly program counter. Okay, it will store the next instruction to be executed. It will store the address of the next instruction to be executed. For example, right now my ALU at the 1000H location. If I want to execute the next instruction, 1001 address will be there in this program counter. Always it will fetches the next instruction to be executed by our ALU. And here the data pointer register. It is a 16-bit register. It is used to point the data from the externally. For example, if I want to read the data from the external memory or write the data to the external memory, then we are using this data pointer register. Here it is a 16-bit register. We are dividing into the DPL and DPH. Here the two 8-bit registers forming it as data pointer register. Okay, it is mainly used to read the data from the external memory or write the data to the external memory. Mainly we are using this DPTR. Otherwise, not required. Okay, next we have this is a RAM. We are dividing into the this format, four register banks, and next one is bit or byte addressable memory, and last one is a general purpose. Okay, we'll discuss mainly in the next slide how the memory organization, and these are the special function registers also we'll discuss in the next slides. Okay, here the totally 32 pins, total remaining 8 pins. Already we discussed this in the previous pin diagram. Okay, the next we'll go for the next slide. Here we have 128 bytes of RAM memory. Here whatever the RAM memory, just I divided this way, right? Similar way we can see it here. We have four register banks. By using this PSW register, we can select any one of the register bank. Initially, I am going to select the register bank 0. Okay, here why we are using this register banks. For example, if I want to access this memory, we can try to access using the register is very fastest accessing. That's why this is a very useful memory. If I want to access the data from this 00 location, I can use directly register 0. From the register 0 I can access directly. Here each register bank contain R0 to R7, R0 to R7, R0 to R7, R0 to R7. See here I can access the this data from this completely address from the address as well as the register. Okay, register is the very fastest than the address. That's why this mainly we are using this memory directly we are accessing through the registers. Okay, here each register bank contain R0 to R7, R0 to R7. Okay, by using this PSW register we are selecting particular register bank. Okay, here 20 to 2F we have the bit or byte addressing. For example, here I can access bitwise as well as complete bytewise. For example, set bit of 00H means this bit will be set to 1. For example, here if I want to move 20H comma hash 01 means one that also by using byte address also I am going to set this flag. Okay, that's why here we can use the bit addressing or byte addressing. It is very useful so that I can directly specify this particular bit I can set by using the bit addressing. Okay, and also we can try to use the byte addressing to modify complete byte. Okay, these are useful of the bit and byte addressing. And the last one only the byte addressing, that 30 to 7F. Okay, here the 128 bytes. Why? Because 2 power 7 means 128 bytes. Here 7 zeros to 7 ones means in hex format 7F. This is the way we represented our RAM memory. Okay, next we'll see the here the special function registers, right? That we'll discuss main on the next slides and current slide also. Here port 0, this is a stack pointer. We'll discuss one by one all the registers. Okay, here the port 0. Port 0 means only for the read and write. If I want to set any particular LED or reset to LED, then we are using this port 0. Port 0 address is 80, address is 80 byte address, and also we can access bitwise also. Here port 0 is bit or byte addressable. Okay, these are bit or byte addressable. Okay, we'll discuss one by one. Here the stack pointer. Okay, here we'll discuss mainly stack pointer. Here already register bank 0, this R0 to R7, 00 to 07 is register bank 0, and stack pointer is placed at 07. It is always initially pointing at this 07. For example, if I push something directly, it will store in the 08th location. Okay, register bank 1 2 3 we are not going to use the initial time. Okay, initially we are going to use the register bank 0. This register bank 1, 2, 3 we can use for the stack operations. For example, this memory is not sufficient for me, so that my stack pointer I can move to the another place like 30, so that this general purpose I can use for the stack pointer. Okay, initially my stack pointer is pointing at this 07H. For example, if I want to push some data, okay, when we are using the stack pointer, that we'll discuss here. For example, my processor execution is here, my program counter next instruction will be stored in the program counter. Okay, this is our program counter. Next instruction to be executed, that address will be stored here. Okay, whatever the address in the PC, the next address I am going to store it here. For example, I have 1000H here. 00 I am storing in the 08th location, and 10 I am storing into the 09 location. Okay, why we are storing it? For example, I have the main program execution. Okay, whenever here I got the interrupt, whatever the next location I am storing into the stack pointer, and I am going to the interrupt, I am going to serve the interrupt. Whenever I am coming back to the main program, then I need to take back from the stack pointer. Okay, this program counter, okay, mainly we are using the program counter to always fetches the next instruction to be executed. Okay, whatever the next instruction I am storing into the stack pointer, I am going to the interrupt, I am going to serve the interrupt, and if I want to come back, I need to retry from the stack pointer. Okay, that is the mainly use of the stack pointer. We are storing the callbacks. Okay, mainly if I want to come back to the previous address, whatever the previous address I am storing into the stack pointer, whenever I am coming back to the main program, then I am going to retry from the stack pointer to this program counter. Okay, we are always storing the address by using the stack pointer whenever I want to come back to the normal program execution, so that I can retry from the stack. Okay, mainly we are using the push and pop operation, we are trying to access the stack pointer. Okay, here the last in last out, mainly that is a mainly use of the stack pointer. Next one is already DPTR we discussed, data pointer register. Here we'll discuss more. Here we have 16-bit register, we are dividing into the DPL and DPH. For example, if I want to the following instruction to write 50H into the external RAM location 1000H. For example, I have connected one external RAM memory. Okay, in 1000H location I want to write some data, 55 data. So I'm writing some code here. Okay, move a comma b, move is my mnemonic, here a is my operand. Okay, comma 55H I am moving to a register, and here I am going to identify that external memory address. Here I'm initially I'm assigning this address to here, move dptr comma hash 1000H. Okay, I'm trying to assign the address to here, move x at the rate, I'm pointing the 1000H location, and I am moving the content of a to the that particular 1000H locations. Okay, mainly we are using this dptr if I want to move the data from internal controller to the external memory, so that we are using the data pointer, and also from external to internal we need to use this dptr. Mainly use of the dptr, we can read the data from the external memory. Okay, that is the mainly use of these two registers, dpl and dph. Next, pcon. Pcon is a byte addressable. If you see here, pcon is a byte addressable. Okay, here we'll discuss mainly in pcon here. Okay, we'll discuss more mainly in the next slide. Okay, just we'll discuss what are all the bit and byte addressable. Okay, this is a port 0 bit and byte addressable. If you see bit level also, 80 also I can access this bit address, set bit of 80H, so that I can directly set this particular bit, as well as byte also we can access directly 80. Move 80H comma, for example, if I want to write 20 value to this port, so that I can write by using the bit address or byte address, we can access this port 0. Stack pointer we have byte addressing, and also here dpl and dph also byte addressing. This is a power control. Pcon is my power control. Here right now we are discussing this special function registers. Just we'll just discuss the outlines. The next slide we'll discuss briefly. Okay, here's stack pointer, dpl, dph, and already we discussed this pcon. For example, power control. For example, I want to move my microcontroller to the ideal mode or power down mode. And also we have special feature, if I want to double the baud rate for the communication, that also we are using this pcon register. Okay, that we'll discuss in the next slide further. Okay, tcon, timer control register. If I want to start the timer, if I want to check the whether my timer is overflow or not. And also for the external interrupts, we want to operate the edge triggering or the external, we have two interrupts, right? Interrupt 0 and interrupt 1. Whether that two interrupt I need to serve the interrupt based on the level triggering or edge triggering, that we are going to select using this register. Okay, next one is T mode register mode selection. Okay, we have too many modes in this four modes. Okay, by if I want to select the particular mode, we can use this T mode registers. And also we have special feature if I want to operate these timers in that counting applications or timing application, that also we are going to select using this T mode registers. Here TL0, TH0, this is my timer 0, TL1 and TH1 timer 1. Okay, each timer is 16 bit, that's why TL0 and TH0, this is my timer 0, and TL1 TH1, this is my timer 1. Totally 16 bit timers we have. Okay, two 16 bit timers. Port 1 we can access bit as byte addressing also. Tcon also we can access bit or byte addressing. Scon also we can access bit or byte addressing. Okay, serial control. For example, if I want to select the particular modes of the serial communication transmission, so that I can use the serial control. For example, I want to check whether the transmission interrupt and also receiver interrupt, that also we are going to use this scon register. Okay, SBUF mainly if I want to transmit the data and receive the data serially, we are using this serial buffer. For example, if I want to transmit the data, so that I want to just copy to this SBUF, then it will take care of the transmission from our microcontroller to the external device. Similar way, we need to receive through this SBUF. If I want to receive the data from externally, from the external via serial communication, so that I can use this SBUF. Okay, here the port 2 also we can access bit or byte addressable. And here interrupt enable register. For example, if I want to enable particular interrupt, we have five interrupts, right? If I want to enable particular interrupt, we can use this interrupt enable register. Here port 3 we can access bit as well as byte access. And also here IP interrupt priority. For example, if I want to change the initial priority, so that I can use the interrupt priority register. Okay, here the PSW already we discussed, A and B register. These are all are 21 special function registers. Okay, we'll discuss mainly briefly here. Okay, first we'll discuss two timers we have, timer 0 and timer 1, TL0, TH0, TL1, TH1. Okay, this we are calling it as timer 1, this is a timer 0. Okay, for example, these timers we can use a timer or counters also. Okay, by using this T mode register we are mentioning, this is the lower 4 bits are timer 0 and higher 4 bits are timer 1 control. Okay, for example, mode 0 mode 1, if I want to select particular mode, we are using this particular modes here. In the like timers we will discuss more on the modes here, just we'll discuss here just M0 M1 we are going to select the particular mode. Here mainly we'll discuss C by T bar. Here mainly whether I want to use the counter or timer. Initially C by T bar means initially my flag is 0. That's why initially this timer 0 and timer 1 we are using it as timers. For example, if I want to use my timer 0 for the counting, I need to write this bit to 1. Okay, here gate always will be 0 for the software control. If I want to control hardware, then we need this gate should be 1. Okay, always this will be 0. And if I want to operate timer 0 as counter, then I need to set this bit to 1, otherwise 0. Okay, similar way, if I want to select the particular mode to operate this timer 1, so that I can use mode 0 and mode 1. And C by T bar. For example, if I want to use timer 1 for the counting, so that I can write 1 to this bit, so that it will operate with the counting applications. For example, initially it will be 0, my register content. Always these two timers will be act as timers only. Okay, gate will be 0 for the software control. Okay, this is our T mode register. Okay, here next one is Tcon timer control. Okay, here the TR0 means here the if I want to start our timer 0, then we are using this flag. If I want to check whether my timer is overflow or not, that time I'm using this TF0. Okay, here the next one timer run 1. For example, if I want to start my timer 1, so that I'm using this flag. If I want to check my timer is overflowed or not, that time I will check this flag. Okay, by using this flag I will start the timer. Here by using this flag I will check whether my timer is overflow or not. That's why these two for the timer 0, these two for the timer 1. Okay, next here the I want to operate my interrupt 0 and interrupt 1 flags. These two flags are interrupt 0. For example, my external interrupt I need to serve based on the level triggering, so that I can set this one. For example, my interrupt 0 I want to serve based on the edge triggering, so that I want to set this one. For example, my interrupt 1 I want to serve my interrupt based on the level triggering, I need to set this one. If I want to serve my interrupt based on the edge triggering for the interrupt one, so that I can set this flag. Okay, this is the use of the tcon register. Use of the t mode is whether I want to operate the timer which mode, and also whether counter or timing applications. Okay, next we'll discuss on SCON, serial control. Okay, serial control register SM0 SM1 mainly we can operate four modes of the serial communication. Okay, that's why we are using this SM0 SM1. And SM2 mainly it is a future use for the multi processing we will use. And receive enable, if I want to receive our microcontroller via serial communication, this bit should be 1. And TB8 and RB8, transmit bit 8 and transmit bit 8. Okay, receive bit 8. Okay, mainly if I want to transmit 8 bit, usually our serial communication is 8 bit transmission. If I want to use the 9 bit transmission, so that I can use these extra bits for the extra bit transmission. Okay, here the TI transmission interrupt and receiver interrupt. For example, once my this S buffer is my mainly this register we are using to transmit the data from the microcontroller, and also we are using for the receive the data from the other microcontrollers. Okay, this is the mainly we are using the sbuf. For example, if I want to transmit, I need to place the data to this sbuf 8-bit data. I want to place to this register, and I will check whether my this whatever the placed data is transmitted or not by using this flag. Okay, whenever the successfully transmitted by my microcontroller, my flag will be set to 1. Okay, then I will transmit another byte. Once the interrupt is triggered, then I will transmit another byte. Based on this, this is one of the feature transmit interrupt. Okay, once after successful transmission is completed, this flag will be set to 1. For example, this once the complete reception is done from the external devices, I am able to receive the data serially, via serial communication. My data is successfully received to sbuf, so that the receiver interrupt will be 1. Okay, this mainly will discuss on the in the serial communication. Just we want to understand, once the reception is successful, then this bit will be set. Once the transmission is successful, then this bit will be set. Okay, here the S mod, mainly this pcon register we are using to and also double the baud rate. If you see the baud rate formula, equal to 2 power S mod divided by 32 is my serial communication division. This is my timer division. This is my oscillator divided by 12 multiplied 255 for the auto reload mode. Okay, here the mainly to understand S mode, by using this bit we can double the baud rate. In case of serial communication, we can, if we want to double the baud rate, so that I can just set this bit to 1. Okay, here the general flag 0 and general flag 1, this is for the mainly feature purpose. Here the ideal mode and power down mode. For example, if I want to change my control mode to ideal, so that I can set this flag. If I want to switch my microcontroller to power down mode, so that I can set this flag. Okay, mainly these two for the power saving modes. Okay, here the mainly for the serial communication we are using mainly scon and sbuf. For the timing application, we are using the timer 0 and timer 1. Either we can use the timer or counter. And tmod and tcon, these are mainly for the timing timers. Okay, already we discussed the port for the read or write accessing these ports. If I want to connect the led or switch, so that we can use these ports. Okay, this is a timing, this is a serial communication, this is a power. Pcon is my power control. This is a scon and sbuf we are using for the only for the serial communication. Next, last two registers are interrupt priority and interrupt enable. Okay, we have five interrupts: int 0, timer 0, and interrupt 1, timer 1. And here the ti or ri, only we have one serial communication interrupt, either ti or ri. At the time only one interrupt will be triggered. Okay, here interrupt enable register. Okay, for example, if I want to enable all the interrupts, then I need to set all the lower 4 bits to 1, and also here should be 1. Okay, for example, if I want to enable only the external interrupt 1, so that I want to set the interrupt 1 and enable bit also 1, then only I am able to enable the particular interrupt. Okay, this enable should be 1. For example, I set all the interrupts 111, but this enable bit I set to 0, then that means interrupts are not enabled. Okay, this is the complete. If I want to enable the that particular interrupt, this should be 1, and also that particular interrupt should be 1. This is the interrupt 0, timer 0, interrupt 1, timer 1, serial communication interrupt. Okay, these are the five interrupts serially. And here if you see, here we have the internal, initially we have initial priority, interrupt 0, timer 0, interrupt 1, timer 1, TIR RI. Okay, this is the initial priority. If I want to change the initial priority, so that I can use the interrupt priority register. Here the interrupt 0, timer 0, interrupt 1, timer 1, serial communication. Here the timer 2 interrupt. In case of 8052, this timer 2 interrupt will be used. Okay, right now this is not used. Okay, in our 8051 this is not used, only the interrupt 0, timer 0, interrupt 1, timer 1, and also this is the last one, serial communication. For example, this is my initial priority. For example, I want to this timer 0 I want to make the higher priority, so that this bit I can set to 1, this timer 0. Okay, if I want to change the initial priority, so that I can use this register. But in case of interrupt enable register, if I want to enable the interrupt 0, then this bit should be 1, and also EA should be 1. Then only I am able to enable the particular interrupt in my particular feature. Okay, I think this you will understood better. I think if you have any question, you can post into the comments. Thank you, friends.